Hey folks, I just thought I'd jump on real quick. Have a chat with you guys. Looking at some markets here. Just before we get started here, just to let you know, I only participated in one market today, and didn't do very well, unfortunately. It was a crude market. I stopped trading Forex on Wednesday. Was my last trade. I got involved in a Canadian dollar trade. Actually, I guess technically it executed and it finished into Thursday morning's trading, New York trading, but it was already put on from Wednesday. But I'll talk about that here in a minute. But I haven't done any trading. I traded Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that was it. That was it for me for the week. And I should have stayed out of the markets today. I got into a crude oil trade. I'll show you here in a minute what my thoughts were on it, but I didn't do very well. Mitigated my losses and really minimized it, so it wasn't a big deal. But anyway, long story short, it's NFP tomorrow. So if hopefully you guys aren't trading also, because right now the markets are very unpredictable, and I'll explain why here in about 2 seconds. I'm just going to bring up this just so you're aware. I'm sure you guys already know what's happening tomorrow. This isn't anything new for you. So we had a bunch of medium impact news events today. Actually, the markets did move quite a bit today for some of the majors. But as you can see, Friday we've got a lot of Canadian dollar news, followed by average hourly earnings, NFP, employment change, and unemployment rate for the US dollar, all landing at 8:30 a.m. New York time. So in addition to that, I'm just going to bring up one other news resource here, just so you know, it's not just the US dollar that we're going to be seeing movement in. We're also going to be seeing movement in, 1 second, let's bring this up here. So you can see here there's several low impact news events for the yen, for the euro. There's some German news coming out, some French news coming out, all low impact, so not going to do a ton to the market. There's some medium impact Swissy news, some pound news, of course, and then we've got non-farm payrolls on again, and this is just a different time zone, so you don't have to worry about this, but that's at 8:30 a.m. New York time, and then all that CAD news that I was talking about as well too. So quite a few events across the pond and in North America. So it's not just that it's the U.S. news events. So basically, all I'm trying to show you is that tomorrow could be fairly unpredictable and definitely not going to be high probability. But I am going to look at a couple of levels where I think we're going to run into. So I believe we're probably going to see higher prices on the US dollar. And my thoughts personally, you see how this 1, 2, 3 candle, 4 candle pattern right here, how prices just kind of come in here and all consolidate right in there. I think that's where they're going to drive price for. It may not hit it tomorrow. They could save that for next week. But it's big figure 9,600. Is what I'm looking for. 96 bucks for the US dollar, I think, is where they're going to eventually take it. It could be pretty sloppy and pretty dicey going into it, so I'm not going to I would say with 100% assurity that this is going to get taken. And one of the big reasons is, you see this here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs right here. Those highs got ripped out on Wednesday's trading. And then look what they did. As soon as they got above that, it was literally a failure swing, and Thursday was straight down, and took everybody who was long out, took all their stops, and they kind of sat it right above this consolidation level. They closed right above it. As you can see, the highs in here, here, and here. So fairly significant. But with that being said, like they really dropped price quite a bit lower just to run people out on the other side of the market. Big rejection candle. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to dump this down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Price could get really wicky and really start spiking all over the place, and we may not get real clear, concise price movement in any one direction. But I would imagine, I'm just going to drop down to an hourly here. I would imagine they'll probably take these lows at some point in time, and see there's equal lows under here as well too. I'm not so worried about these guys down here, but for sure here and here, we could see a quick stop run down to get one of them. And it would just be a real quick, sharp drop, like a price fluctuation. I mean, you know, something like, something like this here, or I'd have to find another NFP day or significant, something like this here, a big gap or whatever it may be. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did a little bit of stop running tomorrow and grab some liquidity below the market. But I think ultimately their long-term price objective that they want to hit is going to be 96. And if we don't hit that on Friday's trading, then they may leave that until next week. But I definitely think we're heading up. Nice big bullish price swing right in here. Counteracted the exact opposite downward bearish slide over here that we've had previously in the month, and balanced the price range up very, very nice and evenly. So like I say, these stops down here, I don't think this one could get ran, but again, if we get a little bit of volatility, I could easily see them running this first stop, and that would just be under Wednesdays and Tuesdays trading right there, just a quick sharp stab down and potentially a run back up. We'll see what happens. NFP as of late has been pretty, not necessarily that it's not a lot of volatility in it, but it's been a little lackluster in my opinion. And so price just is very erratic, consolidates and just smashes out one way or the other, and then back the other way again. And so it kind of almost looks like, this, see how price is consolidating and smashes higher, then smashes down. So this is obviously over an entire year. So imagine, picture that within like, a 5-minute time frame, and that's kind of what you're going to get with NFP. So again, I don't trade it. I hope you guys don't either, but just want to kind of give you some levels that we can look at once the dust does settle in a direction that I think we can we can look forward to for next week's trading, so we can get our setups in before the weekend, so we know what we're looking for going into next week with complete confidence. So with that being said, I don't know why I got a fib on that. Let me take that off though. Don't need that. Obviously the exact opposite is what we're going to be seeing on the Euro USD. We had a nice run higher in the dollar, just took out these highs here, and the Euro USD has made a significant lower push underneath the corresponding lows in here. You see these lows in here, exact corresponding opposite highs in here on the dollar. The dollar just pushed above it on Wednesday and then rejected immediately, whereas the euro, it pushed down on Tuesday actually, and then Wednesday had a full close down candle well below these guys here, and then we had price try to push up and fail. So the euro is definitely showing some pretty heavy price action, and I would not be surprised. We've got a couple of levels here. I easily think that the 1400 level is going to be an easy target to hit. I don't think they're going to be struggling to get into that one at all. So we'll be watching for that one on the downside, and I think there's going to be lots. I mean, that's 120 pips from current location. I'd like to see them leave this one for next week. I think that'd be great if they, kind of traded sideways for Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday they kind of traded up just to fall off and then make a big hard push for this 1400 level. That's what I'd like to see. As you can see, they ran the stops above the market here, corresponding upward trend, bullish price action in the euro, and now we're getting that same downward trend on the opposite side, completing that price fractal. So I think we're going to see, it's not quite complete again, as I say. We've got a little bit of a range in here left before price will complete it, and whether or not we make another run for this low down here is anybody's guess, but I definitely think this is going to be on the menu for next week. Again, if they don't hit it tomorrow. And then if this low gets broken, I'll be honest with you, there's lots of areas down here where I think price could stretch for. I think they could easily see these lows here, here, and here. I think they could easily stretch for those lows here if we get any significant push up on the US dollar going into the rest of October. And that's not too far away. Again, we're only, that'd be about a 400 pip run. So that'd be, a couple of real good down weeks on that one. And you can see, I mean, look at this price swing here. So again, price, we're kind of looking at this, and it's almost like a head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, shoulder, head here. You know, if we do get an equal comparison price movement to the downside, it should easily bring us back to this consolidation range right here, and we should be able to get underneath it. And so that, as I say, should be a nice range there. But the other thing you can measure it is if you go from here and then you do one more price swing, equal symmetrical swing down from the top of this consolidation, it brings you right underneath those lows, which is where I think they're going to be heading. So a couple of things are definitely lining up, and I actually had this fib on. I'll show you guys here. You take the fib, and again, to that 79% retracement level, very, very high confluence level. The 72 and 79 anyway are just a magnet for price on swings like this, so those are definitely going to get hit. So could be a nice range that we're looking at here going forward on the Euro USD. Again, price showing pretty heavy bearishness to it, so I'm expecting continuation to the downside going into the rest of October. Real quickly, I'm just going to clean this up here. Real quickly on the part of the pound dollar, same idea. Not quite as heavy as what the euro has been, but you can see here, price definitely taking out a couple of swing highs, old previous swing highs. I'm sorry, it didn't quite get, sorry, it did get that one by about a pip. The high on this candle here came in at 132.92. The high on this candle came in at 132.97. So it ran the stops by 5 pips and just completely fell out of bed from there. Big rip down. And again, I'm not expecting anything different from this than I am from the euro. I'm expecting the rest of this price range. See, again, came all the way back down. Price came back up, filled in that range. I'm expecting a similar move to the downside again. Whether or not they get under this swing low, we'll have to wait and see. But if they do, I think we'll be challenging these old lows in here. And see how there's a bit of a consolidation period section in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in there. That could be the target on the downside if they want to break those lows, which again would be a real nice swing lower. I mean, again, if we get into this range here, it's anywhere from 200 to 300 pips on the downside. So there's definitely some profits to be had. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. There's no rush on this one. It's NFP tomorrow. Don't be thinking that you're going to catch the high or anything like that on these moves and trying to get in and only have price, you know, go 100 pips against you in the wrong way. Just wait. There's going to be plenty of time. Price will offer us a great setup come Monday and Tuesday of next week, and we'll look to enter and get into some of these positions then. Real quickly, and guys, if there's something that you want me to talk about, I'm going to be on for about another 5-10 minutes at the most. I'm just going to run through a couple more pairs. If you have something that you want me to look at, specifically a Forex pair or a commodity or something, just throw it up in the chat here. And I'll make sure to check the chat before I wrap up here for the evening, and I'll make sure to run through that there quick for you. Running over the Canadian dollar, USD versus the Canadian dollar. So here's my ideas on this guy here. I was looking for a real deep swing lower, and I wanted price to get underneath these lows here. Unfortunately, we did not do it. It lost steam. It ran this low here and just completely reversed. And I was actually looking for a bounce. See these lows in here? This guy, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. Sorry, one sec, guys. These lows in here, I was expecting a bounce lower on them, and if that was going to occur, then we would have had to seen a corresponding, well, should have seen a corresponding drop in the US dollar. Now, not that it can't happen, because as of late, the correlation between the US dollar and the US CAD hasn't really been matching up, and these two should flow in symmetry, and they really have not been. So anything's really possible, and that's again why I was sort of expecting a drop lower. Not to say that it can't. There's a couple of levels up here that I'm looking at, namely 129.50 is a pretty significant level in my opinion. They may want to run price up to there. Another level that I'm looking at is 129.80. Call it, yeah, I'm just going to make it an even 129.80. Fairly significant level to watch. And then this 130.10 level. Now, a little bit of inefficiency above price above here where they might be reaching for on the upside. But ultimately, if we get a real strong bullish dollar, they could really start pushing the CAD higher. So just keep that in mind. But one thing I want to check, and I have not done that yet, my plan is to do that this weekend when I get a little bit of time. It's Thanksgiving, long weekend for us Canadians this weekend. So I get an extra day here of sort of downtime with the family, and I'm going to try to sneak away for a couple hours and just hit the charts and do some real in-depth analysis on some of these pairs. And one of the ones I'm going to check is the futures contract of the Canadian dollar and find out how heavy it is versus the interest rates, etc., and find out sort of where prices are going to be drawn. But so far, as you can see, we have closed this gap. And as soon as price opened up on Monday, this was Monday's candle, I said, I want to see where the low forms and then have price trade accordingly. I did end up getting in on a trade, as I mentioned to you, my last trade. Besides that crude trade I did today was in the Canadian dollar. I got long and I went and I was long. I just have to find the candle. I was long on, so this is Wednesday's trading. Price was consolidating in here, and I honestly, when price was right in here, I briefly looked at the pattern that was forming, and I wasn't too happy with it. I was thinking they might want to come down and drop it down. You see this 1, 2, 3 equal lows right there? I thought they might want to come down and just sweep those lows, and then price started breaking out from there, and I ended up catching it a little bit late, but I got into the run up. I got into see this right after price swung up into here. I ended up taking a long position right in here, and then I sat on price for all of London and then into New York, and then we got a bit of a dip down here. Just about stopped me out, honestly. I brought my stop up to break even. Almost stopped me out, and then price exploded to the upside. I got out very, very early. See where this red line is here? I got out real early on that trade, but I did manage to pick up about 50, I think it was about 55 pips on the with the spread. So nothing too amazing, but not a bad trade nonetheless for Canadian dollar. But I was out. That was my last Forex trade. Basically, once that gap was filled, that was my target, is right where that gap was. And I honestly, looking at this price structure, I believe we'll probably see this level up here getting tagged. But it may take them, again, until next week. I don't think they're going to do it on Friday. I mean, they could. It's only 80 pips, but again, NFP can be very, very unpredictable, and I'm just going to stay away. I'm going to be studying price as best I can tomorrow, and then I'm going to come back in and tackle it on Monday and Tuesday if price hasn't completed this range already. So that's my thoughts on the Canadian dollar. Again, I'm thinking higher prices here. I'd really like to see them come in, though, and let me just get rid of some of this here, so as not to confuse you. What I'd like to see them do is just kind of take stops above and below, and I'd like to see if they want to come back down and retest these consolidation levels in here tomorrow, and then leave it somewhere down in here, and then once Monday opens up, so just assume after this line it's going to be Monday. Monday opens up, and I'd like to see them start to make a run higher on that. So we'll see if that is the case or not. And finally, crude oil. Crude oil kind of got my goat today. I was looking at this, and again, I was on top of it. I kept a very, very tight stop, so it's not like I was, you know, in a free fall or anything like that. But look at this. So here's where this is my thoughts on crude oil. Prices is been in a nice, steady, bull trending market. Okay, there's, you know, no one's going to refute that. Okay, it's a nice big bullish uptrend. So my thoughts are, well, it's time for this thing to retrace a bit, come back down, and retest so they can make another punch long. And if you look, oops, they just recently broke out of this price on what was this, Friday's candle of last week. They came up and convincingly swept the highs above here. So and Monday came in and slightly traded down. Tuesday came down and retested off of the old highs in here and just exploded up. So my thoughts are on this, okay, well, this is going to continue bullish, and they're going to stay on this, and let's get up and get into a nice price swing and look and see if we can't get into the 80s. So they're sitting in here and priced, and they're in here, and I'm watching this in here. And I'm watching this, and I'm saying to myself, okay, perfect. They're starting to come down. They're starting to retrace. They're starting to come down and retest the old highs in here. I want to see how low they come in and get this. And they stabbed down with this candle here. And then they came down and retested this candle here and went a little bit deeper into this. And that actually should have been my clue. But there's just a small area in price here that I wasn't sure if they wanted to clean up or not. So I was looking at this, and right in here, they put these candles in. I'm thinking, okay, great, look at that. Rejection candle right there. They slammed price down, rejected straight back up, and now away we go. We're off to the races. So I waited a little bit. They came back down, tested again, and I put a long order in here, and I put another long order in there. And then I'll go down to a 5-minute here so I can show you a little bit better. So I got in as price was coming up into here. I waited and waited and waited, and I got a long position off here. And then they came up, and I was thinking, okay, here they go. They're going to start running and taking out this old high, and they smashed it down one more time. And I figured, well, you know what? Maybe that was just to put everyone offside here who was starting to get long in this because this was the low. And again, this is why you don't call bottoms. So I put another long position on right here. And then price was starting to run in my favor again. I was thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to start taking this out because it was a 1, 2, 3 drive down, and they failed to take the low here. And then they started running off real quick, and I was thinking, here we go. And again, my stop wasn't deep or anything like that. It was tight. It was right under this swing low here. And then what did they do? It was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight down candles. And I exited actually on this candle right here. I exited my first position, and then when this candle just had no hope, I think I exited somewhere around here. So very, very minor, but still. And then you can see what they did, and they just continued to suck price down below market current market level, and so it was. That's where I went wrong. I was looking for this as a drive up, one drive to clear out all the stops under here, and then they're going to start running price. And I actually should have known from this price structure right here that it wasn't going to go. So my one mistake for the day, my one mistake on the week, not going to be my not my first mistake, definitely not going to be my last. But I just thought I'd let you guys know that it's not always perfectly cut and dry. And so that's, again, one of the reasons why I'm staying out of NFP for tomorrow as well. So highly advise you guys too. And yeah, I was just kind of looking to see if they wanted to just retest these highs in here. And you can see how they drove price straight down. Rebounded off of this old high here, and now they're heading back up. But I'm looking at this, honestly, thinking to myself that if they can come in and take this low here, and they didn't respect it at all, maybe they're going to want to come back down and take this low here on the downside at 72.70. So that's what I'm going to be watching for tomorrow on crude oil. Now, again, crude oil doesn't really get affected by NFP numbers, of course. But nonetheless, I've made enough for this week. My pip count, I think, stands over 100. So had a great week, and I'm going to take my profits and run. And tomorrow's another new crack at it here, so I'm gonna elect to wait for that. So I don't see any questions, and I don't see anybody wanting me to analyze any other pairs, so I'm assuming that I covered the majority of what you were looking for. That's pretty much about it. I'm still waiting for copper to come down to a decent entry level. I don't know that it's going to get right down to this 265 level. It does great. Be looking to pick up some longs. They're really leaving the market above here. See these equal highs up here? I think that's just a prime location for them to run price. But so I'm going to be very, very cautious on copper because you can see what it's been doing here. Been in a very, very bearish market, and really there's nothing stopping them from coming back down and making one more run lower. So I'm going to be watching copper going forward. And that gas, is driving me crazy. This was the other market I was looking to get an entry in, and I have not been able to get one. It just hasn't been clean entries. There was one entry level, one entry that I liked, and that was this one right here from last week. And ever since, price has not given me an opportunity to get in, and I'm not buying up here. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit. If we do see a bit of a decline in oil, if we do see them wanting to bring price down and rebalance at 72, then nat gas should similarly come down in sympathy as well too, slightly, and potentially maybe retest underneath here or even back into this level. So we'll wait and watch for that. But that's really all my eyes are on right now. Again, I'm going to take this weekend, do some more analysis. I'm going to check out some other commodities, because you definitely get a lot of movement in the wheat markets and soybean markets and some of the eggs and some of the meat markets. So I am going to have a check on them, see if there's anything that catches my eye for the weekend, and I'll come back and give you guys a bit of a more thorough report on some of the commodities, and check out the future prices of some of the currencies, and build a strong bias for the remainder of the year. And away we go. So hopefully I'll have a little more to report to you guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend wherever you are in the world. If you are a fellow Canadian, happy Thanksgiving weekend. And if not, I'll be back I'm going to get a pre-recorded session in. I was supposed to do one here earlier this week, and I didn't get a chance, so I just kind of had an extra long Tuesday London Open session. And but this weekend I will definitely have lots of time to get in and do a pre-recorded session. So I'll make sure I do that for you guys. You can watch for that for Sunday evening. It'll drop, and I'll notify you all. And then I'll be back for a live session next Tuesday London Open to get cracking on next week's price action. So hope you guys have a great weekend. And again, Dave will be back tomorrow morning to do a live session on the S&P and gold. Again, don't expect much from Dave tomorrow because it is NFP. So he might just be short and sweet and just kind of reiterate what I was saying here. But nonetheless, he'll be jumping on briefly with you guys in the morning. So I will link you when that transpires. So until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Catch you later.